Yo, YouTube. Yo, what's up, man? It's another video, man. I ain't posted in a minute. I'm a little under the weather, but you feel me? I don't mean we stopped working. So I got a little reaction video right here. It's titled "Why Shark Tank Sucks Now." Shark Tank used to be big too. I don't really hear about it no more. Damn, let's see why.
It's more than just another reality TV show.
Hi, Sharks! Introducing lifted neurostimulation.
It was an outlet for small-time entrepreneurs to pitch their idea to millions.
What did I just make, Andy?
Pyramid scheme?
Yeah.
I would spray you down with water, and every time you say I don't know, I'd hit you with an electric cattle prod.
In the hopes of getting a deal, making the big bucks, and living out the American dream.
That's what I love about money.
American
No
dream,
emotions,
man.
no tears,
Yeah, I'm hearing that
just
word a lot.
reality.
But eventually viewers began to
Weirdly
smell
enough.
blood in the water, with murmurs of fake deals, sharks scamming the entrepreneurs, and vice versa.
I text them like, you're supposed to be working. Oh no, I'm networking. Next thing you know, all the money's gone.
People began to wonder if they've been fooled. Is it all just reality TV makeup?
They're not these angels they're pretending to be.
Well, if you look at how the show used to be, the answer seems obvious. For example, in 2001, it's a totally different animal. Japan is just emerging from what they call the lost decade, a period of absolute economic ruin. The government sets up multiple initiatives to normalize risk-taking. One of these is a TV show created by Sony Entertainment and Nippon TV. They call it Tigers of Money.
I would like to have $250,000 to invest in my business.
I'm trying to do this right now. I got the worst time.
A business I would like to have is the first and only fast food pizza business in Japan. You can sit at home, call on your phone, and the pizza come there. If you can't eat the whole pizza, put it in the refrigerator, heat it up for later.
The premise is simple. Real people asking real investors for real money. Emphasis on real. These conversations sometimes stretch over 45 minutes.
Japan moneyが逃げていく.
The Japanese one was a little bit more like sort of Sergeant Major. You know, I'm the investor and you will do as I say.
He thinks somebody told.
No, okay, let me tell you why. Because no one has done it yet, doesn't mean that it's not successful.
皆さんにご説明したいの。
But it's a compelling premise, and the show gains a cult following.
The idea that the money might yield profit to the dragons was not really in the Japanese show. It was really more like a begging show in which business people begged for money, and if they were impressive enough, they got.
However, the creators realize that this show has even bigger potential over in the West, where entrepreneurs are becoming the new rock stars. So they cut the negotiations down to the most important parts and make the format similar to familiar shows like The X Factor. In 2005, Dragon's Den premieres in the UK, and in 2006 in Canada.
Picture this. You're a single individual watching television alone. Wouldn't it be great if you could find like-minded individuals that love to travel and found each other on Travel Acquaintance? Travel Acquaintance is a unique. You're looking at it all the wrong way. It's
Really?
It's not a dating service. We're not going to provide you with action.
Why not? Well, why would I use your service?
Reviews are mixed, but it's clear the show doesn't resonate with audiences in either of those countries quite yet. So Sony decides to take the same trip our founding fathers once made, to a place where it most definitely will. Land of the free. Home of the My Pillow. In America, entrepreneurship is a cultural staple at this point. And after recently having some economic hardship of their own, the TV market is begging for something like this. Sony puts producer Mark Burnett in charge of creating the show.
With the executive producer of Shark Tank.
After having success with shows like Survivor and The Apprentice, which many argue paved the way for American competition shows, he's just the guy for the job.
It's about America. It's the American dream. You know, I've lived that American dream.
And in 2009, Shark Tank Season 1 premieres in the US. The show quickly skyrockets.
These ordinary people have the ideas, but these 5 self-made millionaires have the cash.
You give up 70% of your company.
And I think the reason it's resonated with fans is really largely the recession. So many people lost jobs.
People's
and
ideas.
America is an entrepreneurial nation.
The show gives everyone a fair chance to prove they have the next big thing. Some show promise.
It's like, you feel me? I give you the money so we can put this great idea into motion, but I also get to take most of your company.
I'm gonna take Daniel.
Others show delusions of grandeur.
The Ionic Ear investment opportunity is a implantable Bluetooth technology. I'm looking for $1 million for a 15% stake in the
Oh,
technology.
yeah. Who would you rather handling your personal belongings? This unprofessional, unlicensed, uninsured mover, or these professionally trained, enthusiastic college foxes packing boxes?
Either way, it's fun to watch, and apparently, it's even good for the community.
The problem is, right now, these people cannot get bank loans. I mean, you can barely get a mortgage right now, right, in 2010, 2011. And so certainly getting a small business loan is almost impossible. For many of these entrepreneurs with incredible ideas, these sharks are the last chance.
However, Mark Cuban's arrival in Season 2 flips everything on its head, and fans get their first hint that the show might not be as charitable as advertised.
The minute we brought Mark Cuban, our first billionaire, onto the show, everything changed.
Two contestants who refuse offers to be on the show reveal that it's because at the back of their contract is a clause that states every contestant has to give the production either 2% of all their profits or 5% equity in their company. Most savvy entrepreneurs wouldn't be willing to give an automatic stake of their company just for appearing on the show. Mark hears about this and is outraged. He gives ABC an ultimatum. Either they remove the clause or he walks. Fortunately, they fold under the pressure and remove it, and Mark posts about his victory on Facebook. Fans applaud, but it turns out this isn't the only case where the show slighted entrepreneurs. In 2013, former NFL player Al Bubba Baker goes on Shark Tank to get help for his struggling boneless rib business.
Sadly, I married a woman that doesn't like ribs because they're too messy. So I vowed to find a way for my wife to be able to enjoy ribs. But how do you make ribs less messy? You take the bones out.
The show was putting itself out there as the American dream.
And the purpose for marketing and, gaining capital, because that was a hard thing for us to do back around 2012. We had just come out of a bad economy.
His pitch is flawless, and he gets two offers.
So my offer is very simple. I'll give you the $300,000, but I want 49%.
That idea is so brilliant, I'll do the exact same deal, but I'll only take 30%.
Bam, Kevin.
This greedy savage, his deal is horrible.
He's never done a deal like this.
Al, let me clear it up for you. I think you're paying a very expensive price for somebody to make a phone call for you that you could do on your own.
Ultimately, he goes with Damon John's offer of $300,000 for 30%.
Well, he already had me at the first taste of the ribs, but then when he pulled out, the cherry on top was Kevin O'Leary, who, who's really not a bright guy, was interested into it, and I knew that I can make a profit and at the same time as stabbing Kevin O'Leary.
3 years go by, and on the surface, Bubba's living the dream, and Damon is parading the business around as a $16 million success story. However, all the way in 2023, the Los Angeles Times comes out with a report where Bubba and his family claim that behind the scenes, what began as their Shark Tank dream has been a nightmare.
We thought we were on our way up, and unfortunately, it's been a downhill battle.
But before I just take the report at face value, I want to run it by the sponsor of today's video, Ground News. Today we're being fed a website-based political feature, hedge fund feed, they finish 5%. Let me do more of what I do on this channel. Now back to Bubba. Apparently the problems start right after they finish filming the episode. Damon suddenly changes his offer to $100,000 for 35%. If you're in that, Damon suddenly changes his offer to $100,000 for 35%. If you're in that environment, you're not asking a lot of questions, he said. It's Damon John. My wife and daughter would have killed me if I said I wasn't signing this.
She said, "Hey, Dad, our future's in your hands."
No pressure at all.
Damon then introduces Bubba to his friend Nate, a former Shark Tank contestant turned close colleague.
Damon, I'd be crazy to not want a partner like you. I accept 100%.
My man.
Who's gonna deal with all the technology stuff? You know, the website, the advertisements, the bank accounts. We had never even sold one bottle of sauce on the internet. This was gonna be the genius to set us up. However, he only creates problems. First, on the day their episode is supposed to air, the website isn't ready to go until 3 hours beforehand. And while they do end up making around $250,000 in online orders, they have to refund nearly 14% of that because Nate fails to set up sales tax. Nate also has control over the business bank account, ignoring Bubba's requests for statements. When Bubba complains to Damon, he reportedly shrugs it off. I'm not asking you to kiss him. This is just business. Finally, the Bakers decide they don't want Nate a part of their business anymore.
There were a lot of red flags with him, and it took us some time to convince Damon to have him removed from our business.
When he eventually does leave, he decides to take one more thing with him. the Baker's bank account.
He wiped out our business bank account. There was about $100,000 in there at the time, and he mailed us a check for $8,000.
That's not good. They ask Damon where the rest of the money went, and he says Nate deserved it.
People are probably like, why didn't you just stop with Nate? And it was because of me, because it was my dream and my goal. And my dad's favorite saying is always, I'd rather be the yeoman on a smooth sailing ship than the captain of a sunken ship.
Unfortunately, Nate is the least of their problems.
Up,
2 years go by.
And that's the thing. They say most billionaires and millionaires only got to where they're at off of fucking people over. I don't know if I'm going to get demonetized for that. I don't think I am.
And Damon is parading the business around as a $16 million success story. He says it's one of his biggest deals ever. But there's one problem. The Bakers say they ultimately receive just 4% of that $16 million. And that's not all. After a $5.8 million deal with Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, the Bakers yield a total of $2,900. Well, that's a problem.
We're thinking to ourselves, hey, Damon, aren't you concerned with where the profits went from the $5.8 million deal? So we're thinking he's going to align with us and to try to figure out a breakdown of where this money went from $5.8 million. Instead, Damon John band together with the co-packer, Rastelli Foods, to file a lawsuit against us because they wanted to move forward with a Subway deal.
Rastelli Foods Group is a family business with family values, family ethics. We have to make a very clear distinction. No one works for Rastelli. They work with Rastelli. It's a very clear distinction.
The Bakers say they're completely shut out of negotiations and accuse both Damon John and Rastelli Foods of trying to take over their business.
You never knew at one time how much revenue you were actually generating.
Absolutely not. And there was no way for us to like log into a bank account and see, oh, okay, the product costs this much.
Damn, that's fucked up, bro. Like, you actually had a product that blew up. You can't even get what you deserve off of it. It's not even your product no more, bro. Damn, like that's so crazy too, bro.
The expenses were this much. The storage was this much.
Eventually, they come to a deal to settle the whole car.
And maybe you're like at least giving them half. You feel me? Taking that, I don't know. Even that is still bad because nigga asked for 30%, end up taking everything. That's crazy.
Carl's Jr. situation, and the Bakers have to sign a confidentiality agreement. However, by 2019, legal fees pile up. The Bakers are forced to sell their house at a loss. Bubba's restaurant closes, and his truck is repossessed. So in a last-ditch effort to try and get back what they feel is theirs, they break the confidentiality agreement and go public with everything. Needless to say, Damon isn't happy, especially since at the same time he's trying to break off his affiliation with Nate.
Nate Holzefeld admitted to fraud and sexual misconduct in a deal meant to keep him out of prison and off the sex offender registry.
Who was sentenced to 15 years in prison for multiple counts of sexual battery and having a side hustle where he would get girls on Tinder to sign their houses over to him, which he would then sell.
Unfortunately, the way this system works is that you do get a little bit hung before you're even tried. Innocent until proven guilty in America, and in part, thanks to KSL.
Well, you pleaded guilty.
Damon posts a video in response to the Bakers.
I'm making this video to address this LA Times article that Al Bubba Baker and Brittany Baker intentionally broke the confidentiality and put out and shopped to this reporter. And at best, it's not true, and that's me being kind. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to always stand up for yourself, no matter what position you get in life, just like I am. Don't sit back and think, oh, the truth is going to set us free because I have the truth, but I'm under confidentiality, and I can't.
What can you do? They always say stay down till you come up. And it's just like, damn, you could really... everybody in this world has potential to be something great, but it's just people who are going to keep... It's people above... knowing you're gonna be great, keeping you down, and that's so fucked up. Like, niggas hate to see other niggas win, and that's sad. That's really sad, bro. We supposed to be helping each other, and you fucking people over, bro. That's what you doing. That's just messed up, cause it's like, why? Like, think about if you was in their shoes. You feel me? How would you be feeling? But then again, you gotta realize not everybody got a kind heart. You can't treat everybody with the same What's the right word? I don't know. The same kindness. You feel me? Not everybody's human. You feel me? Not everybody act normal. Some people psychopaths. Some people will fuck you over just cause. Some people want the best for themselves. You feel me? That's some. When you get to the top, I feel like when you get to the top, it's probably gonna be like a dog. It's probably a dog eat dog world. But I don't know, cause this proved me otherwise. Just you a millionaire. Fucking over niggas who don't even have 100,000. What? I get it. Like, as a businessman, you want to have the best something for yourself. But that is so fucked up, bro. It's like, no, the most fucked up part about it is nobody's able to punish him for it. You feel me? Like, nobody's able to do something, say something like, yo, you lose half of your wealth because you did this stupid stuff. You feel me?
Put the truth out there in detail, but public opinion also could potentially affect your family, your loved ones, the people that have worked on this project and invested in it. When your family's out there, and because of public opinion, these people now, after the LA Times article is out, they're online, damn near
and that's another thing, bro. Like, so many people who will know they're 100% in the wrong. I think the whole industry is just like characters. Feel me? You hear that? I feel like you hear that from a lot of bigger people, especially when they get into the people that don't like to stick with those around those people. You know, the one thing I got from that was like the Big X in Theo Von interview where he was talking about, no, I don't really like messing with too many rappers and stuff like that, because you never know somebody's motives, bro. You feel me? People be nice for their own benefit. Try to build a relationship with you for their own benefit. They're not building it because they think you a cool dude. Something like that. They know you blowing up. They know you gonna be up there. So I'm gonna build a relationship with you. So let me grab you. Let me hang on your shoe or your leg while you going to the top. You feel me? It's like, it's weird.
harassing me at this point and putting up a lot of falsities, and I will not stand for that.
He files a permanent restraining order on the Bakers, prohibits them from making any future disparaging comments, and forcing them to remove all previous ones. However, in their lawsuit against him, he ends up paying them settlement money.
Practically speaking, to me, to an outsider to that situation, but someone well-versed in lawsuits, the fact that John paid the Bakers settlement money, to me, that means he probably did mistreat them in some way. Now, maybe he didn't, but again, that doesn't mean that they can now talk bad about him, because if he said that he'd pay them for, at least in part, silence, then they just got to shut it up.
Bubba's not the only one to run into a problem like this.
I mean, if you read the article, there was 2 or 3 other companies in that article.
As the years go on, the audience gets bigger, and so do a lot of other things.
I mean, it's a beast of a machine for distribution. So I've just found the deals are getting better and better every year, and this year, they're incredible, and the size of the investors we can make, because the companies have sales.
The publicity factor alone becomes a huge draw. If I'm on the show, I'll be accepting any offer necessary to get the happy edit and the victory music. That just becomes a 15-minute primetime ABC commercial that would otherwise cost me millions of dollars. Then it gets replayed around the world in reruns, costing tens of millions more. This ends up coming around to bite the Sharks in the end. In 2013, the tank sees a pitch so good that all 5 Sharks invest. Breathometer. Breathometer. It takes the concept of a breathalyzer and turns it into another physical device that relies on an app to function.
And then it turns your phone into a real functioning breathalyzer.
Who would want to carry one of these bulky old breathalyzers around? So that's why I created Breathometer.
I'm still not putting this in my pocket, man. The Sharks take the bait, each of them pitching in hundreds of thousands of dollars.
From the entire team of the Sharks. I'm ecstatic right now. I have no words. I'm shocked.
But soon it becomes clear Charles isn't quite the entrepreneur they thought he was.
The guy, Charles, I look at his Instagram and he'd be in Bora Bora. And I look at his Instagram.
This guy's shit.
Yes.
What?
2 weeks later, and he'd be in Vegas partying, you know. Then he'd be on Necker Island with Richard Branson. And I text him like, what the yeah, so that was my biggest beating.
Do you blow up on these guys, or you just say, fuck
There's
it?
no point. Yeah, there's no point. It ain't gonna change. Ain't gonna.
Maybe he was testing the product though. Probably testing the product.
This would be a fair explanation. However, this is where things get even worse.
And the most important question is, are you safe to drive?
No, it turns out the device is having problems of its own.
It's analyzing my breath right now, my whiskey breath. And it gave me a .00.
Wow.
Apparently, I have not had a single thing to drink. So that's actually one of my critiques of this thing.
In 2016, the FTC calls Charles, telling him they've received numerous complaints of false advertising, and that he needs to take the breathalyzer feature off of his breathalyzer app. Breathometer settles with the FTC over deceptive advertising. Of course, his angel investors wouldn't be too happy to hear this.
When we started this journey with you, it was breathometer. We were testing alcohol levels in blood. Now the information coming out of the company is almost completely different. New product line, new direction, new partners. What happened to breathometer? Is it still going to sell? Are you going to continue developing it? Or are you just going to throw it off the slate?
Rather than shutting down the operation, Breathometer, the breathalyzer company, decides to change markets.
Essentially, Breathometer is a breath analysis platform.
What?
We were looking to expand and go really deep into alcohol, but we realized that there was a much larger opportunity, like oral health.
What?
So we're moving into things like oral health care, hydration, fat burning, asthma, even you can go as far as diabetes and lung cancer. I basically can range and apply breath detection to a variety of things. Everything is extreme as to lung cancer, to diabetes.
Really? In the end, this doesn't work, and Breathometer is forced to refund all the customers. The lesson learned here? Well, the money certainly helped Charles's case. The publicity is all he needed to get his product off the ground. A shark recommending a product is basically a celebrity endorsement, and having packaging with the as seen on Shark Tank logo is enough for any product to fly off store shelves. Charles isn't the only person to take advantage of this.
Here's a really important message. Please pay attention. There are hundreds of scam ads out there using my name, my face, and these scammers are getting good. They're saying things like this.
Hello, Shark Tank here. I'm Lori Greiner. Dive deeper with the Shark Effect. Tune into our genuine keto secret. Hi, everyone. Shark Tank here. Today, I will share a secret method on how to lose weight as quickly as possible without dieting or going to the gym. This is our only officially licensed product. Shark Tank in the house.
They are fake. They are scam ads. Do not pay attention.
Remember in season 1 when they had this intro?
These ordinary people have the ideas, but these 5 self-made millionaires have the cash.
Well, as the years go on, more and more of the contestants have both the ideas and the cash, and don't need much financial help at all.
The Lark bottle is the world's first self-cleaning water bottle.
I have a couple of these.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Great.
You do?
That is awesome.
I do.
We raised our first round of venture capital in 2013 after we launched the app. And then we raised our second round in 2015.
What has happened is we've gotten more and more sophisticated applicants. That most entrepreneurs that walked in the door in season 1 and 2 were asking for $10,000, $20,000, had no sale, but had a simple product and a dream in their hand.
The producers and sharks see it as a good thing. However, as the years go on, it becomes a noticeable trend. Longtime fans start to protest the change. I miss the old days when it was about people who were truly getting started and needed help, instead of everyone already having $1 million+ valuation at the gate.
I'd like to thank you all for letting me take a dip in your tank. I've mortgaged my home twice. I've taken my kids' college funds, my 401k, all my savings, and amount of debt on my credit cards.
Wow. Stop right there.
The show has jumped the shark. It used to be these tiny companies that truly needed the investment and expertise from the sharks. Now if you don't have millions already in sales, a client base of 30,000 customers, etc., they don't even bat an eye at you. Or it's already a decent-sized company who clearly plans to not take any deal and just exploits the show for massive free advertising. Today the show's viewership is strong as ever.
Excited to be here today, all of us sharks and dragons and lions, and so humbled to be invited by the United Nations to learn about the Sustainable Development Goals and how we can contribute.
At the end of the day, this is reality TV, so it's all about entertainment. Plus today there's plenty of other ways entrepreneurs can secure funding. As for publicity, there's always social media, and as we've learned, it's probably best that people with less experience stay away from the show, for their own sake. But comment and let me know what you think about all that, and subscribe.
What was that video on the side? You know what? I don't care. That was a very educational video, just to show you that not everybody up there has the best. What's the best outcome for you, bro? It's just my fault. I didn't mean to do that. Not everybody, like, you feel me? Not everybody wants you to win. And that's sad. You feel me? People that take credit for your shit. It's so fucked up. But it's life. You gotta find a way to maneuver through it. You feel me? There's snakes in the grass. You gotta find a way to swing, I don't know, jump through trees. Shit. That's my message I lead you. Man, this was a good video. I like this.
In the late 2000s, people...
Man. God bless.